This week we'll talk more about widget layout and how we can improve it. Welcome to another MetPy Monday. Hello, I'm John Lehman, a software engineer for Unidata. This week we're going to finish dressing up our density altitude calculator, or at least for now, by dealing with some widget layout issues. So if we run the cell where we were last week, we see that all of our long descriptions are getting cut off and truncated. Now if you hover, you get a tooltip that tells you what they say, but this isn't necessarily the best look. So I wanted to show you 3 different techniques that you can use to deal with this, all of which have some different trade-offs. And of course there are more, but these are the easiest to implement and will generally deal with about 90% of the use cases that you're going to find. So the first strategy is by setting a widget style. In this case, a style is a dictionary where the key is the thing that we want to set, and then the value is what we're setting it to. You can look up all the different style attributes for widgets in the documentation, but in this case we're going to set the description width attribute to be initial, which means don't change it from whatever I initially would need to fit the whole description. So since I'm going to use this on multiple widgets, I just set that dictionary to be the variable style, and then we set the style keyword argument to be the style dictionary for each of the widgets, and then we'll redisplay them. So now we have the full description, and this may or may not be the look that you want. I don't really like it because I've got different width sliders. So for example, my pressure setting slider doesn't have as many pixels of range, so it's going to be harder to set. Also, to me, this just looks a little bit jagged and uneven, but in some situations that's probably what you're going to want to do. And knowing how to set the style is very useful because you can change other attributes such as background colors and fonts and so on. But what I wanted to do was show you 2 more strategies. The first one is by using a label. So all of the code up here is the same, it's just been repeated. But now down here in our VBox, instead of just putting the widgets, the VBox is a list of H boxes or horizontal boxes. And in that horizontal box, it's a list of first a label that has the description that I want, and then the actual widget. So notice I removed the descriptions from up here when I'm making my widgets, so I don't have a double description. So really what this is doing is creating a box, putting a label on the left, and then on the right we're putting the widget, and then we're putting all of those boxes inside a vertical box or a VBox. And you get something like this. Now this isn't bad. So all of our sliders are the same width. We have all of our text shown. This layout certainly works. I don't necessarily like the unevenness over here on the right side of the screen. So I'm going to change that, and we're going to do it in the simplest way possible, which is using the grid box. There are certainly more complicated ways, but this requires the least code, the least fiddling, and the least dealing with HTML or other CSS type things. So we're going to make a list, just a single list of all the items that we want. So my pressure label, pressure, elevation label, elevation, and so on. Then I'm going to use the grid box, give it that list of items. And for the layout, I'm going to use widgets.layout with grid template columns equal to this string. And that string has what looks like a function call in it. And it sort of is. This is saying I want you to repeat as many rows as you need, 2 columns, 180 pixels wide. And do that however much you need to get all of the items in. And we get this nice layout shown below. So now everything's lined up, and we have a calculator that we could pretty easily use with Voila as a simple web tool. This would be great for teaching, great for research, or great to prototype your next big idea. I hope that you found this useful, and we'll see you on next week's MetPy Monday.